Welcome to episode 8 of the Jodas Hour. Today I have the baseball captains of Bishop Feehan High School with me right now, Matt Saunders, Matt Linehan, and Andrew Cook. Two of them are going to be going to college for baseball. Cookie going D2 at Assumption, Matt Linehan going D3, but an upper D3 at Westfield State. Going to be talking to them about their baseball careers, their personal lives, and a lot more today. Going to see how this goes. To start off, though, I'd like you all to just give a little bit of a recap of your last 4 years of high school, where you've been on the team, what position you play, all that to the audience. Saunders, you want to start us off? Or Linehan, you want to start us off?
I can start us off. So I think my baseball experience has been a little different from these two. So freshman year, we all tried out for the team. We made it. I'm an outfielder. So, I'll play left, center, right. It's kind of just like you can switch between them. But sophomore year, we didn't have a baseball season, so we didn't play sophomore year. And then junior year, I was actually on JV. I wasn't even on varsity, and I played outfield on JV. And then after that season, I had a good time. I got to meet like the juniors on the team, and then they gave me captain. So that's just kind of where I am now with baseball.
Wait, so Saunders, just real quick, you went from being on JV junior year to a captain senior?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Like it's like when I tell people that, people are like, "What?" But like, yeah.
No, that means that they saw a special leadership in you, that even not even being on the varsity team, they saw you come to practice every day with something in your eyes. That's awesome to see.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely an honor.
There we go. Okay. Now we are back for the final time. No more technical difficulties. We fixed all of those. Heard from Matt Saunders, his background already. Matt Linehan, what is your background in baseball?
Yeah, so freshman year, I was a three-sport athlete, but my main sport was baseball. And in that spring, I was the shortstop for the freshman team. And my high school career kind of moved pretty fast. I feel like sophomore year, we didn't have a season. And then junior year, I got pretty lucky during the winter. I worked my tail off, and the coaches saw that, and they pulled me up to the varsity tryout. I ended up trying out for shortstop again, but since there was a couple injuries in the outfields, I kind of jumped into right field, and that's where I played all of last year. So I kind of moved into more of a utility type player, play every position. So this year, I'm not really sure where I'll end up in the field, but I know I'll be out there, and I'll be playing utility in college, so wherever's open.
No, 100%. Every team needs one player who can do a little bit of everything on the field. Think you're going to fill in perfectly for Bishop Feehan this year for that. And then, Cookie, would you like to move on to your background as we start this interview off?
Yeah, so I pitched for Feehan. I had a little bit of an easier path, I'd say, than the other two. I was fortunate enough freshman year, start on the freshman team, and then I pitched well to start the year. I got lucky enough to get called up to JV to end the year. Sophomore year was really hoping to make varsity as a sophomore. Things were looking pretty good for me, but then obviously season got canceled. And then junior year fall after COVID, I was lucky enough. The seniors last year, they asked me to play on this fall team. So it was me, Sean Stevenson, and then just like the senior class. So going into the winter, I didn't really have too much stress because I was kind of had an established role. Then I had a good season last year, led the team in innings pitched. Yeah, I mean, had a pretty good career so far. So
no, for sure, Cookie. Obviously, you're the pitcher for the team. That is one of the main positions on the team, obviously. But everyone fills in a role. Obviously, Linehan mentioned that he's more of a utility player, not having a defined role, but just filling in everywhere around the field. Every team needs a little bit of person in each specialized area, I'd say. But I'd like to ask you, boys, over the last 4 years, obviously, Saunders, last year you were on JV. You were saying this year you became a captain. Linehan, I believe you said junior year you switched to varsity, right? Or was junior year JV for you too?
I was varsity.
Yeah, so varsity for you junior year. Cookie, then you were almost varsity sophomore year before COVID happened, but it was junior year that ended up being varsity, correct?
yeah.
So I'd like to ask you, boys, over those 4 years, what is the biggest lesson you've learned as you've gained more skill and worked towards the final goal of being on varsity?
For me, I feel like, the difference between me and some of the other kids, the deal breaker was hitting. I feel like if you were a consistent hitter, there was definitely a place in the field for you. I ended up hitting the second best batting average on the team last year as a junior. No one really knew who I was until the tryouts, so kind of made my name out there, and I think that's what, separated me from other players, and that's what put me in the field over some seniors. So
No, for sure. Again, recognition for your actual name, putting your face to a name and a skill is needed for sure. Saunders, what about you? What's the biggest lesson you've learned?
I think not only in baseball, I think this applies to like every other sport. Like you got to know your strengths. So like I'm not the biggest guy, so I'm not like looking to hit home runs. I'm looking to just get on base. So I think one of the biggest things that you need, at least that has helped me, is just like working on your fundamentals. So like just like hitting off the tee, like getting that muscle memory down, because if you're just going into the cages trying to hit bombs, like you're just gonna strike out or you're just gonna like pop out. But I think if you just really just work on the fundamentals, just hitting off the tee, that's the biggest lesson I've learned.
100%. There's a reason the little kids start off with T-ball before they go straight to baseball. You need to take those baby steps to actually gain like skill during the game. What about you, Cookie? What's the biggest lesson
I'd
for
say
you?
for me it was kind of a mix of knowing my role. Like after freshman year, I kind of saw like, hey, like not really gonna play the field anymore. I'm not gonna hit. Like I'm just a pitcher. And from there, just hard work. Everything's hard work. I really got into lifting the past year and a half. That really took my game to the next level. Just hard work. I mean, all else fails, just work hard. You'll be okay. I think for me, at least, the coaches recognize that. I worked just as hard, if not harder, than a lot of the seniors last year, and that's what pushed me into like the role I ended up earning.
Yeah, the common theme throughout all of your answers, it seems, is just relying on yourself and following what you actually have to do. You brought up Matt Saunders, Cookie brought up hard work. Linehan, you obviously brought up batting, which is, for you, your best skill, you said. So I'd like to actually move on from that topic. We've kind of just been talking simplistic baseball stuff. What is your guys' relationship with Coach Winter? I'd like to say, I'd obviously seen since freshman year, you guys have all been really close together. There was, I believe, a homecoming picture taken with Mr. Winter where you guys all got pretty hyped for that one. So what would you guys say has been the relationship over the last 4 years with that coach? And how would you say he's helped you grow?
I think Coach Winter's the perfect guy to be a freshman head coach. He knows baseball. I don't think he gets enough credit for how much he actually knows about the game. And he's a really good guy. I've grown pretty close to him. He's been a good mentor for me. Like I feel like I can go to him, talk about a lot of stuff you wouldn't normally talk to a teacher about, talk to a coach. And he's kind of been like the middleman between the varsity coaching staff and the players. Like you could go talk to him, kind of speak your mind. Like he'll hear you out. Yeah, just for me, he's been like he'll keep it real with you. Like he'll tell you where you stand. Like he'll be honest with you. He's just been, for me at least, a really good mentor. Kind of like all you could ask for in a freshman head coach.
No, for sure. It sounds like he's just made the transition a lot easier from going to an 8th grader playing middle school baseball, going to a high schooler, actually playing varsity, competing for spots on the team. Saunders, what about you?
So like kind of like what I said before, how it kind of ties in with other sports and stuff. Like you had Coach Brooks in football. I think part of being on the freshman team isn't all about like it's all about like getting you ready for the next level. Like you're not trying to win a championship on the freshman team. You know, Coach Winter's just trying to develop us all, and I think he does a really good job of like teaching us like different lessons, teaching us like how to play the game and trying to move us on to the next level. Because we're not gonna be stuck on freshmen all 4 years, but I definitely think he's taught me some pretty valuable life lessons, and I have a lot I owe him. So.
Oh, for sure, Saunders. It just sounds like the relationship is for sure great with Mr. Winter. What about you, Lena?
I think he's a relatable guy, and I like how he's around the school, all the time. Like we have questions, and he's always right there, and he's always willing to talk to us. He's always checking in on us, and I know like throughout the winter, he's been checking in with me and Cookie, making sure like everyone's on the same page. He just wants to see the best for everyone, and I think freshman year he kind of established himself as more of like a father figure for all of us in the school, and kind of just helped us, grow into who we are today.
Yeah, that's one thing you can see between coaches who actually relate with their players and coaches who don't. Players that actually feel like they are cared for by their coaches relate a lot better with them than ones who just feel like they're the player for that coach instead of like a family member to that coach.
Yeah, I will say there's no one that cares more about the Feehan baseball program than Coach Winter. Without a doubt. You can see how much he loves coming to practice, coming to lifts, and I mean, you can see that in his work. He's better off for that. We're better off for that.
No, 100%. as I've already said, not as you guys have already stressed, his relationship with his players just shows that he actually cares about the sport and that he wants those players to get better. But now we've been talking about baseball for a bit. Got to take a little break from that. Got to bring up something that happened right before this show. May have messed up turning off the silent alarm today. Had the cops show up a little bit. May have shocked Cookie, Linehan, and Saunders a little bit there. We're all good now. Did have to interact with the police a little bit. Ended up saying officer a lot within those 10 minutes. But now we're out of it. We're back to the Joe Has Hour.
They got our IDs on the record now.
Yeah, now we are in the system. If I do anything, I am finally going to get caught because I have Joe Des on my car as well. They learned everything. But now we will continue on with the interview. We need to liven up the energy a little bit. I was realizing I was kind of giving you guys a little bit boring questions. What is the funniest story that you'd say over the past 4 years from the baseball team for you guys?
Yeah, I'll start. Freshman year, we had a game in, I think it was Sandwich, so that's a long ride, and I'm sure everyone knows the Feehan short bus, right?
Of course.
Coach Winter was driving that, and so there's a kid who was on the freshman team, great kid, Blake Ducharme, and he was, I don't know what it was, he was Snapchatting this girl or something. He was Snapchatting this girl. It's an attractive girl, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was Jake Sully who actually ended up leaving Feehan, but he just started going crazy saying Blake was going to hang out with this girl. We started chanting his name, and then you just see in the mirror right in front of the driver's seat, Coach Winter like pumping his fist, chanting Blake too, just going nuts. That's probably the best Coach Winter story I have, best baseball story I have by far.
No, that's great. Did not expect Coach Winter to actually approve of that. That's really funny to see.
For me, going back freshman year again, Coach Winter promised us if we went over 500 as a team, he would bring us all to Wendy's. And so we ended up going to Wendy's at the end of the season, and we ran up his bank account. I feel super bad about it. We had a lot of guys on the team too, and he was not there when we were ordering. So we got a lot of stuff, and I kind of feel bad to this day, but he still does it with all of his teams, which I think that makes him special. But that's definitely the funniest Feehan baseball story for me.
Linehan, is there any way you can give an estimate to the final number that cost?
200 plus.
200.
Yeah. We had, what, 19 kids?
17 kids.
We all ordered like the
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys could have got 54 for us for that.
We ordered expensive.
That's either $45 biggie bags or 54 boards. You guys did that between 15 players. That's hilarious. The fact that Coach Warner continued that on, though, shows obviously, as you mentioned before, he cares about his players. He does not mind that bill at the end of the year.
I think this is hypothetical. Like if the school's watching, this didn't happen. But one time we were on like the short bus, and we were like going to a game. I think, I don't know, it might have been like KP or something like that. But so we're leaving the parking lot, and we hear like a loud noise. So we're all like, what was that? And then we look over the side, and the car to the right got hit. Coach Winter hypothetically hit this car. And then we're like, I think you just hit that car. He's like, no, I didn't. He just kept driving. But like you could hear like the sound of it, and, like the bus shaking. We're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, that's a crazy dream that you had that obviously didn't
like,
happen in real life.
It was like it didn't actually happen. But
I understand. I asked you what your funniest dream scenario was.
Also, if we win the state championship, he's taking us to Hooters. So
big step up from Wendy's for sure. It's gonna be nice to see. But
worse food, better experience.
Yeah, no, the atmosphere there is just great for a team, of course. But continuing on, what is your guys' biggest hope for this year? Do you guys have goals and aspirations, of course, going deep playoff run, finishing your final senior year with the team just as best as you can? Or do you guys have more of the goal of just connecting and appreciating this final year with your team?
I mean, obviously I have my own personal goals, but as for the team, I think we have the potential to make a run. I don't think anyone's really expecting us to be as good as I think we'll be. So I think we have the potential to make a good run at the D1 state championship. But I mean, at the very least, just we have a fun group of guys. Just enjoy our senior season, enjoy our last couple months of high school. That's kind of, like baseball aside, that's all I can really ask for from the season.
No, for sure. Some people will play the sport. Obviously, they want to finish the season, finish up trying for the playoffs, but people will not just soak in the energy around them, soak in their final year of senior year with the players that they played with for 4 straight years. Look back on it, then they regret the entire last season. I think that you guys won't do that. I think you guys know what is happening. Saunders, what about you?
So like unlike these two, like I'm not going to college for baseball. So this is probably my last year of ever playing. Like I might play in like a beer league when I'm older, but like competitively this is it. And kind of just like my experience from football too. Like I think there's 2 sides of every sport. There's like what you do on the field and like the locker room and like off the field. So like I think a big part of like the sports in general is just like having a good relationship with all the boys on the team. So like I definitely wanna have a good relationship for these last years and like leave it off on a good note, but also make a big run on the field. So
Not 100%. Just finish off with the boys that you started off with. What about you, Linehan?
I think in the league we're in, we're going to be a very underrated team. But I think with the team we had last year, we had a lot of guys. So we're still like putting the pieces together. Obviously, we have like pretty much our whole team coming up from JV. So we're still trying to, get that chemistry going with everyone. But I think we're going to be an underrated team. I don't think the teams in our league are going to throw the top pitchers against us this year. So compared to last year where we got every D1 commit to pitch against us. But I think what made us special last year, and I think we're bringing this year, is, off the field. Yeah. Like in the locker room, bus rides, everyone connected, everyone was open with each other. And I think we're going to start that early this year. And I think we'll make a deep run. We have potential. We have the depth. So.
Yeah, now that COVID's done, there's really no limits to just the team connecting together. You guys can have dinners together. You guys can actually do stuff again together. That's going to be just amazing for the team growth. So I'd like to continue on, though. Over the last couple of years, you guys obviously went from freshmen looking up to seniors who are going to be basically taking freshmen and the younger grades under their wing. Are there any players in the younger grades right now that you guys believe have a lot of potential for the future?
We have juniors alone. We have a pretty good junior class. Got a lot of good baseball players. But, I feel like in that grade, every single one of them's a leader kind of in their own sense. Kids like Jake Rizzotti, George Sucados, like they've been good. They've been working really hard this year. And then going down the line, the freshman class is impressive to say the least. Like we've had 25 freshmen at every single lift. Like there's some big strong kids in that class, some really good baseball players. Like there will be freshmen on our list. I have two in mind, Connor Poland and Randon May, that they'll lift with me and they'll go pound for pound with me. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Those two really, really hard workers, and the whole freshman class in general. So,
Yeah.
I have high hopes for the baseball program for the future.
Yeah, as you mentioned about lifting, I feel like lifting's been stressed between younger grades a lot more now. So you can just see younger players being so much stronger than before. If you lifted coming into high school, you were already one of the strongest kids. That's not guaranteed now. Almost everyone lifts before high school now. Saunders, what about you?
I think I can touch up on this too because I was on the JV team last year. So, he touched up on kids like Rizzotti. I also see kids like Moser, stepping up, making a big impact on the team. But like in the sophomore class too, I know Brett McCaffrey. He's from Walpole. I'm from Walpole. I've seen him play. I've actually played with him in like Little League. I know he's a hard worker. And the freshmen, I know they all go to the lifts. They're all dedicated to the team, and I'm excited to see what they have in store.
No, for sure. It's going to be good to see you changing perspectives actually from being those freshmen to being the seniors now. It's going to be awesome just to see how that goes. What about you, Linehan?
I think the junior class especially has a lot of potential when it comes to college baseball. I know me and Cook are going to take these guys under our wing this year and try to help them out because these guys definitely do have the potential to play in college. These guys have the work ethic, and you see it all the time. These guys post on social media their exit velocities and all that. So they're already trying their hardest to get recruited. So I know for us, we're going to help them out. But some of these guys, they're bigger, stronger than they were last year. They're definitely improving, so we'll take them under our wing and help them out as much as possible.
No, that's going to be awesome to see when you because you guys already went through their recruiting process. Cookie with Assumption, you with Westfield State. You're just going to be able to give them some more advice that is actually directly from the source. It's going to be great to see.
Yeah.
Then continuing on, next question I'd like to ask you guys about. Over the last 4 years, you guys have obviously gone through a lot as a team. Obviously, I've switched a lot of coaches. I obviously brought up Coach Winter earlier. Who are the coaches, though, now that you would say inspire you the most and actually have helped your growth the most besides Mr. Winter?
I mean, the whole Feehan coaching staff is great. Like, they've been absolutely great to all of us. I mean, Coach Everton, the head coach, he's a really good guy. He's taught me more off the field than on the field, just about, respect, hard work, like how to be a leader. He's a military guy. He'll teach you how to be, like, I don't want to sound cliche, but like he's kind of taught us all how to be like a man.
Yeah.
Like that's like been his biggest impact. And then, I mean, all the other coaches they're all really good guys, like baseball aside, like all guys you can talk to, like none of them are jerks. Pitching coach, Coach Nagel, he's been a huge help to me. He kind of took me under his wing freshman year. I've had pretty good contact with him all 4 years, even in the off season, like him checking in on what I'm doing, like being really motivational, really inspiring for me. So, yeah.
That's is one thing that I've noticed through everything you guys have said. The coaches just care a lot about their players, which is amazing to see. What about you, Saunders? Do you have any special shout-outs you want to give to a coach?
I know I haven't really had the opportunity to make some of the connections like on the varsity level as these two, but someone I owe a lot to is just one of the JV coaches, Coach Gimler. He really just puts you like in your place, and he's not afraid to say, like, he's not afraid to tell you what needs to be done. You know what I mean? Like he's always honest with you. He's really changed my work ethic. I owe a lot to him because he kind of I don't know if I would be a captain if it wasn't for him, but I do owe a lot to him because he really has taught me a lot of things. So
No, it's just great to see. What about you, Linehan?
Definitely the two varsity coaches. Cook brought up Coach Everton. I mean, he taught us like very disciplined stuff. Like some of the things he taught us was like how to fold a flag.
Yeah.
And like that's some stuff that I'll, keep for the rest of my life. And that's just some of the stuff he does. Coach Nagel, I kind of had a slip up last year. We had a scrimmage against Medfield, and I kind of got thrown out at third, and he kind of walked me through it the next practice. And it's just those little things, like the one-on-one conversations are just easy to have with these guys. And I don't even know how many coaches we have now, but I think it's like 8 or 9. But all these guys are like best friends. So it's super easy to like connect with all of them. And just practices and games are just fun. Like even the JV coaches come to the varsity games, and like they each go to each other's games, and, they just want to see the best for Feehan baseball. So.
No, for sure. One of the biggest things that can ruin a team if the coaches are having a little bit of inner fighting that obviously like the players are going to notice if the coaches don't get along. The fact that they're like best friends just makes it so much better. Probably a lot more better connected to the team. Saunders, were you reaching for the mic like you were going to say something?
I was going to say something, but I have one more coach that I think he's not even a baseball coach, Coach Penabel.
Coach Penabel,
I think he really I think if I owe anyone the most, I owe Coach Penabel a thanks because he's really taught me he's taught me the most life lessons like out of anyone, and he really like kind of just developed my character. So even like through baseball, he always checks up on me, like he's always asking me how I'm doing. So I think Coach Penabel is also a big thank you.
Now, Coach P, he is one of the coaches that just embodies actually caring about your players while still being hard on them. He knows you can't be too soft on your players or they're not going to actually want to work, but you can't be too hard on them or they're not going to actually want you as a coach or listen to you.
Yeah, I would actually like to say something about Coach Penabel. So I played football my freshman, sophomore year, and I kind of made the decision to not continue my junior and senior year, pretty much just for baseball reasons. And he's been absolutely, couldn't ask for anything more from Coach Penabel after that. He was wicked supportive of me at the start. He's the door's always open if you want to come back. He could have easily just, turned a cold shoulder to me, not talk to me at all. I see him in the weight room. He always comes over to me, shakes my hand. That just means a lot. He cares about people. He cares about Feehan. He cares about everyone. He's really, what Feehan preaches in their coaches, for sure.
100% Cookie. And it's so easy as a coach to just be ignoring the players who don't play for you anymore. he still keeps track of them. I stopped playing freshman year. He still checks in on me about the Jodas Hour. He checks in about the broadcasting and sports and all that. Just an awesome guy overall. So I'd like to ask you guys for a final question before we wrap this up. Ignoring baseball, what are your guys' plans for the future, and what do you hope to come?
So I'm still deciding on what I want to even do.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure, honestly. I'm waiting on one more college to come back to me, but right now I honestly have no clue.
Yeah, I kind of committed early to Westfield State. I committed early September, so kind of when school started. So I kind of had a good idea. Senior year's kind of been, easy for me. I haven't had to worry about college, but, I'm excited for the next 4 years. I think the coach at Westfield State kind of gave me a good opportunity that I couldn't, refuse. And the criminal justice program there is off the charts. So I'm excited for the next 4 years. 2 of the guys from the team last year playing baseball there, so I'm excited.
So criminal justice is what you're going into, though? Yeah. Nice. It's going to be great to see. And final one, Cookie, what's your future plan?
So I'm studying finance at Assumption next year. That's kind of like when I thought about like a major, that was kind of like the only thing I really had in mind. That's what my dad does. My dad's a financial advisor. That's what I've wanted to be. Watch Wolf of Wall Street for the first time. You want to go into finance, but honestly though, like baseball has kind of just been my whole life. I honestly don't know if I'm going to do something with that finance degree, just because I don't know if I could give up baseball. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just as likely a possibility I go into whatever coaching, or go to work for a baseball team rather than go sit behind a desk for the rest of my life.
Well, there's so many avenues you can use with the baseball stuff. There are so many positions in a team that you could be working at the professional level, not even as a player. You could be just a coach for those players. There's so many different things you could do.
Yeah.
But Cookie, you obviously mentioned during that, mine just completely blanked right there at a full sentence I was about to say. That was going to be so good. Just fully forgot that sentence. That was not the best right there. All right, well, Cookie, during your answer, obviously you mentioned finance, and I have now finally remembered what I was going to say. Cookie, if you go into finance, you might be getting a call in a couple of years. Might need someone to get me out of an audit if I have heaps of debt. Need to get taken out of there. Don't want to get caught by the IRS. Might be giving you a call eventually.
I got you, Joe Des. Don't worry.
Okay, that has been it for episode 8 of the Jodas Hour, featuring Matt Linehan, Matt Saunders, and Andrew Cook. They'll be signing the board as they leave. We already have Crump up there and Cajun Franchino. Going to be Cam Fourier and Lydia Mordarski for the next interview. Thank you for watching.